Absolutely love that intro. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge, presented by Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Don't forget that on Tuesday, we will have our debut on Georgia Alabama Sports Live's Facebook page and YouTube channel. Starting at noon, you got the Sports Beat scoreboard show Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday starting next week as we are 6 days away from the start of high school football. If you missed the Glenwood Media Day, it was incredible. And I want to thank the athletic director of Glenwood, Coach Tim Fanning, and all the coaches that were a part of Media Day. This is a special sports beat as I count down my favorite top 10 fictional slash real announcers in sports movies. Now, when I talk about real announcers, that they made a cameo in the sports movie, and that's why I include them in the list. There are some memorable announcers in sports movies. I love sports movies, but one thing that makes sports movies unique is the colorful announcers. Some are over the top, some are just silly, and some are just there either in satire or because you just love to laugh. So sit back and enjoy my top 10 fictional sports announcers. This is a special sports beat with Richard Holdridge. Let's go ahead and get that list going for you. All right, let's start with number 10. This is the movie Semi-Pro. Came out in 2008. It was a basketball movie that featured the fictional team in the ABA, the Flint Tropics. These announcers were so incredible. I love these two guys, Dick Pepperfield and former Flint Tropic Lou Redwood. And they actually jumped out the gate in this movie, and they really made the movie very colorful. And it's definitely not one of those movies you want to take to see with your kids, but it's a very underrated movie. Will Ferrell, who was the owner, the general manager, the player, the coach. It was a lot of fun. All right, number 9. Rookie of the Year. Look, this was a sports movie that I loved as a kid. It was about Henry Rowan Gardner. He was a 12-year-old kid, I believe, that broke his arm, which caused him to throw 100 miles an hour. But John Candy, the late John Candy, who passed away in 1994, one of the greatest comedians of all time, did a phenomenal job as the announcer in this movie. He was known as Cliff Murdoch in the movie. Some of his antics when Henry Rowan Gardner threw the ball all the way from the outfield to the home plate. He's paused in midair with him and his color guy with both trying to eat a hot dog. It was pretty funny. Love the movie. And Rookie of the Year is just one of those underrated baseball movies. My next one, not a very good movie, but I actually, because I love the announcer Ernie Johnson, I had to put him in this list because Ernie Johnson and his color guy, known for saying anything is possible, and that was pretty cool. But yeah, disappointed in the movie Space Jam 2, but the announcers in this movie were kind of cool. I like this, and my next list of fictional announcers or real announcers that make a cameo appearance in a movie, got to give it to Happy Gilmore. How brilliant was Vern Lundquist in this movie? I mean, the movie was great. You got Happy Gilmore. You got Shooter McGavin. You got that rivalry. They might even have a sequel. They're actually going to have a sequel that's going to be coming out in a couple of years. But Vern Lundquist, who has always been a very professional announcer, continued his role. He wasn't silly. He wasn't funny. He was just Vern Lundquist and what he does as an announcer. That's why he was so brilliant in this movie. My next two announcers, another Adam Sandler movie, came out a couple of years later. Waterboy just needs some water. Yeah, you all know the line. Brent Musburger and Dan Fouts were absolutely brilliant in this movie. Last game of the season, can't hold anything back. So funny. The Waterboy classic sports movie. It's is one of the best Adam Sandler movies by far. My next movie on this list is, here's the thing, this sequence in The Naked Gun, the baseball sequence might be the funniest sequence ever in a movie. And so they tried to satire baseball announcers. And so the Anaheim Angels were playing the Seattle Mariners, and Frank Drebin, played by Leslie Nielsen, was trying to find the killer, somebody that was going to assassinate the Queen. You know, spoiler alert, it turned out to be Reggie Jackson. But that's neither here or there. He wanted to get on the field, so he disguised himself as an umpire. Well, actually disguised himself as a national anthem singer, Enrico Palazzo, and then he disguised himself as an umpire. And then when he revealed himself to not be the umpire, somebody in the stand said, "It's Enrico Palazzo." And so that was so funny. But the part that was funny was Kurt Gowdy was the main play-by-play announcer, and he's like, "I'm here alongside Jim Palmer, Tim McCarver, Dick Vitale, Mel Allen, Dick Enberg, and Dr. Joyce Brothers." They were making fun of the fact that, I'm counting them up, they had 7 announcers. Can you imagine a broadcast with 7 announcers? Yeah, we would definitely not get away with that on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. All right, number 4, basketball. Oh, man. Bob Costas and Al Michaels, they were brilliant in this movie. My favorite thing was the Denslow Cup, where they had to go through the long, rigorous 6-month postseason, and they're announcing, and they're completely haven't slept, they haven't shaven. But I think that this is another one of those spoof movies where you pick, at the time, the 2 best play-by-play announcers, and they agreed to be in this movie announcing the games. I thought this was a pretty good ploy for these 2, Hall of Fame play-by-play announcers to be in this movie. All right, let's go. We're actually getting up there on the list. Starting to get some funny movies. How about Dodgeball? Oh, by the way, it just hit midnight. Today is August 8th. In honor of ESPN the 8th, the Ocho. Dodgeball, a true underdog story. Probably a very underrated sports story between the Average Joes and the Globo Gym Cobras, played by Ben Stiller, and his dream team of Laser, Blazer, Blade. So incredible, but these announcers were absolutely awesome. I mean, Cotton and Pepper, they were great in this movie. He's got some funny lines in there. Yeah, that's a strategy, Cotton. I wonder if they'll if he'll if it plays out for him. Excellent strategy, Cotton. I wonder if it'll play out for him. It was pretty funny. Next one, I put this high on the list because it's memorable, and even though it wasn't a big part of the movie, the public address announcer for Necessary Roughness, the Texas State Armadillos, a fictional college football team that, got hit with the death penalty like SMU back in 1987, but Scott Bakula was the Chris Winkie of the team. He also had Sinbad. Kathy Ireland was the kicker. But the PA announcer, Chuck Niederman, played by Rob Schneider, who can not forget the line, "Fumble, Fumbalaya." He was so funny. And then, of course, the number 1 fictional announcer of all time is Harry Doyle, played by Bob Uecker in the movie Major League. We all know the famous lines. "Just a bit outside. Ball 4. Ball 8. Oh, This has been an incredible list. I just want to thank everybody here on the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge for allowing me to give you this list. My top 10 fictional announcers. I mean, you know I love play-by-play announcing, love PA announcing. I wanted to do this list, and I can only come up with 10. But the reason why I want to do this list because I love sports movies, and sports movies are just more colorful when you have announcers in them that are funny, or they have satire, or they're just real announcers that just happen to make a cameo appearance. All right, well, that's it. That's my show. Thank you, everybody, for watching yet another episode of the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge. This is a special edition of the Sports Beat. Good night, everybody.